The day's been wonderful here at the A&P Show. I've had over 20 gospel conversations, and the team, about 8 or 9 of us, have been non-stop all day. So about 9.5 hours we'll end up having been here when we finish up, and it's just been an absolutely wonderful day. I'd be happy to say that over 100 people at least have heard the way to heaven, which is incredible.
Your glorious cause, oh God, engages our hearts. May Jesus Christ be known wherever we are. We ask not for ourselves, but for your renown. The cross has saved us, so we pray your kingdom come.
A couple came up to my flip chart and they wanted to know what it was all about, and I said it was the good person test, and did they think they would be good enough to go to heaven? And the lady said, well, it would depend on you whether you believe in that, but yes, I'd be good enough. And so starting at that very point, I backed up and I just explained, well, how we know that there must be a heaven and a hell, and what the standard would be. Turned into quite a long conversation, but that there was a slight hostility in her questioning to begin with, but she came to a point where they became curious and then understanding, I hope, about the wonders of the gospel. They were from Australia, and they'd be heading back to Australia. I just asked that you would pray for this young couple, that they would not only understand, but that they would accept the gift of Jesus and trust in his sacrifice for their sins.
Lord, use us as you want, whatever the test. By grace we'll preach your gospel till our dying breath.
One conversation that really stood out to me late in the afternoon was with James and Rosie. James said that he thought after we died that DMT's released into our brain and we have an eternal trip, and Rosie said she thought there was nothing. I asked them if they thought that there was a God, and they said no, and then I showed them that there must be one because our universe has a beginning. Then quickly off the back of that, I showed that therefore the owner of the universe sets the rules, and therefore they're accountable. And we then went through God's rules and God's laws, and they came to understand that they're guilty and they're on their way to hell. And I asked them what they could do, and they had no solution. But I then took them through the good news that God himself has come into this world and taken the penalty for sin, so that anyone who trusts that Jesus paid for their sin will inherit eternal life. And asked them some checking questions. They were able to tell me the way to heaven and those sort of things. They weren't overly moved by it in that initial encounter, but they were at least able to tell me how someone gets to heaven and why a Christian wants to obey God after they've trusted that Jesus paid for their sin. And so that was encouraging. Please be praying for James and Rosie that they would realise the seriousness of their sin, that they're heading to hell, and therefore they would trust that Jesus paid for their sin.